Well, hello Doomers, and welcome to ranking every junk food format from easiest to hardest. Junkfood 4 is the last installation of the Junkfood series, and like all junk food wads, it is a mixed bag of overtly easy maps, butt-clenchingly difficult maps, and maps that will make you rethink your life decisions. So, I wanted to sort the chaotic map pool for your viewing pleasure. But before we get into the list, I will give some useful information and how we will rank each map. So Junkfood 4 is a comp level 21 WOD pack with 98 levels hosted by Meowgi, which has a large span of seasoned mappers, and generally the maps were made under 10 hours with some exceptions. It also includes an infinite ammo BFG and an infinite faster firing rocket launcher. Also, the plasma rifle, chain gun, super shotgun, and pistol have all been buffed. There are also new spooky enemies, such as the Super Shotgunner, Pyro Knight, Nightshade, Baron of Hell, the Judgment variant one, Flying Mancubus, Melee Revenant, Kamikaze Guy, and a few from the secret maps we'll get into later. Alright, now that you know the basics, let's get into how I will be ranking the maps. Most importantly, I will be ranking the maps on how hard it is to UV max, aka getting all kills and secrets on the ultra violence difficulty. This is pretty much the standard. Things I will be taking into consideration will be UV max length, with longer maps considered more difficult. This means hard maps with only one fight in them won't be ranked as high. Next, hard fight time locations, meaning the further into the map a hard fight takes place, the higher it is ranked. This is mainly due to the amount of time it will take to UV max a map. Average number of attempts. Now this is something I can't really do without substantial effort, so I will instead use my experience on the map as reference for attempts. Cheese, also known as beating a fight in an unintended and easier way, is considered fair play and will bring map difficulties down. And one more thing I want to say before we start, I did all of these maps single segment UV max on my channel, and I will link the playlist in the description. I put a lot of effort into my playthroughs, so if you could check it out and show some love, I would greatly appreciate it. Anyways, enough yapping. Let's get right into the list. Starting off our list, we have map 93, which is just a credits map. There's no kills, no secrets. Really boring pick for the easiest map, but it's impossible to die on this map. But yeah, it's also technically un-UV maxable because there's no kills or secrets, but who cares? Moving on to the second easiest map, and it's the intro map. Wow. Crazy lineup for the beginning. Yeah, this map you can actually die on if you spawn the enemies and they somehow kill you, even though you have an invul. So at this point, there is a chance of death on the list. And yeah, just cool intro map. Alright, finally onto a real map. We have the Grimace map, map 75. Yeah, I voted this as the easiest map of like the actual junk food series because there's like no way to die here besides the cyber demons, which are very still and they can't move and you can just circle them. It's practically a free win. Every time you got a bunch of Grimace shakes around you. You're also inside of Grimace that will keep your spirits up. And yeah, just a good time, pinkies all around you, give you hugs, nothing bad here. This map. Map 28. This map is like eating a burger with no meat inside. It feels empty. Enemies just scattered all over the place. Nothing really dangerous to do for you. Yeah, nothing really going on here. You get an invul and you get a bunch of health. You can take it as slow as you want. Not really much going on in this map. Very forgettable. And for that, it is also the second easiest map. Map 64. We're actually getting to the maps where they have spots where they can actually kill you. And this map, it's only the first 10 seconds. You beat that first little area in the beginning with all the imps and the pinkies, and you pretty much beat the map. The rest of the part, you have 2 invulns, which is way over the top, and you only need one of them maybe to kill the Archvile room, but you have the infinite BFG, you have a lot of walls. It's just super easy. I ranked this higher than the last map because this map has a good chance of killing you in the beginning. When I did my attempts on this, I died once at the start. Now, even though this map can kill you, it's in the very first 10 seconds, so you just click restart real quick or hit the restart button and bam, you can just do it real quick. Doesn't matter if you die in the beginning. Map 5, here we go. We got a pretty simple map. All you have to do is really just circle around it. If you're really unlucky, maybe you get hit by a cyber demon or something. Maybe you get, I don't even know. There's nothing that can happen to you on this map if you just circle around the enemies. There's enough health for everything. Yeah, very, very easy. There is no invuln though. The last map had 2 invulns, which is definitely a step in the harder direction, I'd say. But yeah, we're still at the point where the maps are just extremely simple. Map 6 is called Glutton for Punishment, but they completely forgot to add the punishment. This map is baby cheeks easy. Nothing going on here. Again, you're just circling around. This is why slaughter maps get a bad name, because people see maps like this and they're like, oh, you see the slaughter map, you just circle around and you win. Yeah. That's what people think. Like, that map's like this. Overall, the map's fine, but just there's no difficulty, so it's kind of like you play it real quick and then you're like, okay, on to the next map, which we'll be doing that right now. Map 56, basically Map 28's older cousin, the cool older cousin. Yeah, got a bunch of enemies here. Nothing's too dangerous. You can kind of just run through it. Actually, you can run through this whole map super easy and then just kill everything afterwards, which is what I did. You got an invuln, you got some nice secrets, got a lot of health. There are some cyber demons. I don't think there's any. There's very little archviles. Which makes this map pretty simple. Your chances of dying are really slim unless you're like, oh, I accidentally took my entire hand off my keyboard. Anyways, on to the next one. Alright, map 63. This map isn't really that difficult. All fights are pretty tame. There's a chain gunner room though that can kill you if you're not ready for it. There's the imp room, which is would be tough if it wasn't for the infinite BFG secret. And yeah, there's just nothing hard in this map. The only thing that makes this map harder than the others is the fact that there is a in the beginning, if you miss an enemy, you won't be able to get it because the stairs fall down. So, as long as you don't miss the enemy in the beginning, this map should be free. Map 2! We're finally on the second map of the series. And, this is probably the hardest map 2, I think. I haven't played Junkfood 3, but yeah, this is a hard map 2. For the second map's sakes. The first part is pretty simple. You just strafe around, blah blah blah. But there's actually this one room in the secret fight, which you're seeing now. This part's actually pretty easy to die at. You get 1 megasphere, and you got a bunch of mancubus shooting at you. I died here in a run actually, which costed me about 8 minutes. So yeah, it wasn't fun to die die here. Uh, yeah. Besides that, everything else is pretty simple. Map 25. And we got actually a really cool map here. It's very short, but the only part that can actually kill you is like the beginning. The beginning, like first 5 seconds, you can just insta-die. Besides that though, I did this map first attempt, and I don't even think I like practiced the map beforehand. I think I just went right into it. So it shows that it really isn't that tough, but this map feels pretty polished, like fight-wise, even though it's more on the easy side. There's still, you know, seems like there's some thought going into it. But yeah, still on the easy stuff. All right, map 3. We got Trick or Treat. This map is actually map 3, and it's pretty small map, but you can actually die pretty easy here if your hoarding is bad. This is, yeah, especially when like the Pyro Knights come out and stuff. It's really easy to get overwhelmed here. But even if you die, you know, you only wasted like 40 seconds. It's not a big deal. Eventually you'll train enough where you kill everything. You can also take it slow, where you bring out the Pyro Knights after you kill everything by the Hell Knights, but that's just a lot of time. Yeah, really cool map. I really do enjoy this one. Map 21. Got 1 billion Draculas here, but apparently there's only 842 of them that showed up. Yeah, pretty aesthetically pleasing map. Overall, we got a bunch of health, few archviles, nothing too crazy here. The hardest part is probably the ending, right before you get archviles kind of surprised at you. However, very simple. Once you get the BFG, it's pretty much GG. And the map is also quite short, which also makes it very easy. Face rockets, face rockets, face rockets. Map 4. Overall, not too difficult enemy-wise, but this map you're given very little space, not a lot of health, and an infinite rocket launcher. So if one little imp goes right in your way, you're gonna get killed. They're gonna explode, and you're gonna explode too. Now, I really recommend trying to find a safe spot, not being near the teleporters here. However, it really shouldn't take you too long to beat this map, maybe a few attempts. Therefore, it's not that difficult. It's brunch time with map 29, and this map has a few parts in the beginning which are tough. You know, you gotta kill a few cybers, maybe two-shot them. But besides that, right after you get through that beginning, you get an invuln, you get the infinite BFG. Just like the last like 6 maps, there isn't much that can kill you here. It's just repeat of the last few maps. There's, again, really not much to talk about here. Besides the last part, which has archviles, which you can't see because they're behind walls. However, it's not that bad at all. You can also go in that final fight with the invuln, so yeah, this map gets placed right here. Map 94, the first secret map in Junkfood 4, and probably the funniest map of the WoD. I really recommend playing this one. First off, you got 4 invulns in the beginning room, which is way overkill. That's 2 whole minutes of being invuln, and the map takes about 8 to 10 minutes to beat. Besides that, the hardest part of the map is probably not getting insecure while Gordon Ramsay is telling you it's too raw the whole entire time. And maybe if you somehow run into a group of revenants or just stand in front of arachnotrons. Yeah, this map is quite easy. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna have to move it down a few maps. Map 8, aka the Valley Purple of Dew, has you standing on a single platform which doesn't do anything besides spawn enemies. Overall, there's not a lot of health in it, just a little bit of pickups from what you can see, and few cybers, and an archvile finish at the end, which comes at times when you least expect it. Overall, not hard, very short map that can give you a few attempts before you beat it. Map 43 is a map with 3 short sections, with the last part being the hardest. Now, the last part isn't too hard, but you can easily get killed if a cyber demon comes close to you, and you have to work your way to the infinite BFG. And this map is quite enjoyable, I gotta say. Besides that though, just make sure you find your corner, because once you get into this final area, it's pretty hard to get health. It's very hard to see. Not a lot of indicators or how to see where the megaspheres are. But if you pass that part, then you'll be good to go. Map 7. This map will make you feel like you're Ronaldo scoring against 1,386 infants on a field. Even though it looks pretty tough, it really isn't that hard. You got a bunch of ammo everywhere, and some health. There's a few archviles, but they get dealt with quickly here. The biggest dangers are probably getting stuck from an enemy in the little crevices, or being stuck in the crevice yourself. Now, this map really is a beauty. Map 80. Now this is where, in the start of the series, I'd say it went from no challenging maps to maybe some attempts to, maybe it might take some time. This is the next tier of maps, starting with map 80. And this map has a few difficulties. First is the kamikaze section. These kamikazes are laid out perfectly just so they won't explode all at once, for the most part, which makes it a much harder to deal with. And this map has absolutely no health in it, besides the little nachos and the Mountain Dew you see everywhere, which really makes it quite difficult. It is very short though, and it's got that going for it. There is a bunch of Cyber Juniors and Revenants and Pyro Knights, which adds to the difficulty. But yeah, from this point, you'll see maps that are a tier higher, a bit harder. Map 14, King of Burgers, has nothing to do with kings or burgers, but there is quite the amount of archviles in one spot, which makes it a bit more difficult than the other maps. But yeah, the best thing you can do is charge up your BFG, hit them all at once. Really helps. But even after I did all that, look at that, I got triples after something. So yeah, it can be a little tough, but even if you die here, you only lose about 2 minutes in the run. And that's definitely the hardest part about it. So, not too bad, not too easy, not too hard. And on to the next one. Map 83. Now this map is quite high up on the list of Junkfood maps, but it's a good reason that it's not that hard. First off, there's only one pretty tricky part, and that's the part you're seeing here, the first 20 seconds into the map. And basically you just don't want to stand at a part for too long, or else one of the archviles will zap you. This is a classic case of this looks way harder than it actually is. I believe this was my second attempt or something to get this, and really once you get that first megasphere to spawn in, you're pretty much good. Uh, yeah, map 83, not that hard. Map 71, another map where it's just too big to be difficult. You've got decent amount of megaspheres, you got a decent amount of cyber demons, but you also have a lot of room to work with and a lot of ways to approach the map. As you can see, you can just press everything at once and you still have so much room, so much ammo. Or I don't even know why they give you ammo if there's the infinite BFG. Map 12. This map has 6 tents in it, and then you get to the final fight. But there's only one tent that's actually dangerous, and it's not even that dangerous. But you finish the first tent, and then it's pretty much free. It's free. Yep. Another Baby Cheeks map. You would have to like fall on the floor crying to lose this one. Map 15 is a short action-packed map with many ways to die. But if you make it to the Hell Knights section where the button is and shoot the button, well, not shoot them, but kill all the Hell Knights there, that's pretty much GG. Once you press that button, you get an invuln, and you can use that to kill the Archviles and make yourself some room. So really, you can die a lot in the beginning. You know, I think it took me around maybe 10 attempts, but it's super quick to just restart, and you'll die in the first 10 seconds. Therefore, the map isn't that hard. Map 22. Another map where the beginning is definitely the hardest part. Once you get through the first 20 seconds, get through the punching revenants, the map becomes quite simple. However, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. There's still Archviles that can target you through a bunch of enemies. And yeah, the scariest part about this map is probably the name. I should also mention, once you go to the area with the kamikazes, all the walls go down, therefore it makes it super easy to just infight everything, which helps clean up the map. Map 31. Mario Kart Junkfood. Just what everyone wanted. So this map has you running a racetrack for a bit, which can actually get pretty difficult because the enemies, they start spawning in and you gotta wait here a long time. There's no health on the track, so what you get is what you get. But once you beat the track, you get launched with the infinite BFG, and you just have to kill everything. There's also an invuln secret, which really helps out. But once you get out of the track, you have practically beaten it. Are you entertained with map 9? This map has a circular layout and a few spots which are really dangerous, especially where you gotta go and press the buttons, which is right on the cyber. You also get the BFG there, which is very useful. Overall, you can get overwhelmed on this map pretty easily, especially if you run out of BFG ammo due to the punching revenants that will just trap you. You're also in here for quite a long time. But overall, due to the length of the map and how much ammo there is and health, it's put here. Oh boy, map 40. This one is quite a hard map for a short one, and it's definitely the hardest short map so far. First, you got a crazy beginning with a lot of things going on. You got a bunch of cybers to work around, and you got to get behind them to get the infinite BFG. And then there's just a whole bunch of more revenants coming out. And towards the very end of the map, you have a giant wave of cybers, normal health cybers, and Archviles behind them that guard the exit. I was fortunate enough to beat this map on my second attempt, but I definitely feel like it should have took more. Woohoo! Map 44! Now, this map is quite simple. All you have is the beginning part, and then you get up to the top here, and you kill everything here. But what really makes this map stand out is the fact that once you press the button in the top area, all these imps just spawn in the beginning, which makes it really hard to get back there. So the best way to kill them is actually just from shooting them from the top. But the thing is, shooting them from the top can be really easy to rocket yourself. It's so easy, especially with a rocket launcher shooting as quick as it does. It's super easy to just accidentally kill yourself here and waste like almost 5 minutes of your time. So just because of that, this map is placed right up here. Map 39. Now, besides this map's title straight up insulting you, it's not too bad difficulty-wise. Now, there's two parts though that are pretty dangerous. The first part is when the cybers get lowered. Then you have to make a little safe way in one of the crevices, one of the three. And the other part is when the archviles get released. And the archviles, they can either revive their friends, or they can just zap you 4 times at once. It really depends how they're feeling. And that's about 2 minutes into the map, so it can take some attempts to beat this. Map 17. This map might not look too dangerous, but it's actually really easy to get cornered by the punching revenants. They will swarm you real quick, and it's really easy to run out of ammo, especially if you didn't grab the backpack yet, which is in one of the harder places to get to. But if you end up killing all the punching revenants, the map opens up a lot and it's really easy to beat after that. And right after map 17, we have map 16. This map is quite open. There's a lot of few parts. I believe there's 3 small places you have to go. But the real difficulty in this map comes from its resources. It can be easy to run out of HP, as there isn't a lot of soul spheres or megaspheres around. But overall, with a few attempts, you should be able to beat this map. Map 13. Oh boy. This map, there's a lot of things in your way, and they really want to kill you. And your goal is basically to try to kill those revenants on the staircase as quick as possible. The quicker you do that, the faster you'll be able to get to the final part. The ending includes a lot of archviles, which is very easy to die to, until about 10 seconds later when they give you an invuln, and then it just turns free. So, besides that, you should be fine here. Map 34. This map gives you 2 invulns to start with, and it really helps to get through the revenant staircase. The hardest part about this is definitely the almost never-ending revenant staircase, which just keeps coming out. So that makes it where you can't really do circle strafes, because you'll just end up dying to the revenants. So you gotta kind of just do this horseshoe maneuver, but if you get out the invuln and there's still cybers blocking you, then you're kind of screwed. It really depends on how well you do the infighting during the invulns to get this part done. Map 42, here we go. This map is an undead crypt, and the first 2 rooms are actually pretty difficult. The first room because it's pretty easy to run out of ammo, and the second room there's a lot of Cyber Juniors, which are actually good at clogging up the pathways, making it really hard for you to get around here. And the third room, which is the final room, has an invuln in it, which makes it extremely easy. So really, once you get past the second room, you're pretty much free. And the second room, it takes maybe a minute to get there, so there's really not much on the line here in terms of time. Map 18. Another short map with a pretty tough BFG spot. You kind of have to push your way through this, and if you don't grab the BFG right away, the map becomes really more difficult. So I recommend just trying to get the BFG right off the bat, which probably will take a few attempts. But once you have the BFG, there's a few death pits and a few cybers that could kill you. And it's also pretty easy to run out of BFG ammo, and if that happens in a horde, you're pretty much dead because you only have the rocket launcher otherwise. So, yeah, not too shabby. Map 27, Candy! Now, this map can actually get you pretty stuck if you don't know what you're doing. So, basically, getting the infinite BFG is pretty easy. There's nothing really crazy going on there. Just kill the kamikazes while going there. But once you get here, it's kind of hard to get out. You know, you have all these melee revenants coming at you. You got a few mini cybers. You can get overwhelmed pretty easily here. So that's probably the biggest difficulty of the map, is getting out of the infinite BFG area. Map 50, the Big 50, and this map has quite the amount of ways to die. First off, this is a map where really, if you don't have a strategy on, you'll actually probably get destroyed. A lot of enemies around everywhere, and if you stay in one area for too long, then you'll probably end up dying. I think the first part is probably harder than the second area, but second area still has a lot of arch files once you grab the yellow key, which can be quite difficult, especially if you're not well trained in killing a bunch of arch files. Map 49, also known as the Spider Map. Now this map is quite intimidating at first until you realize that all the spider masterminds kind of just kill each other. There's one part in the map where you have to press 2 buttons, and these spider masterminds actually take up a lot of room, and it's actually, you can get caught pretty easily. Also, this is one of the longer maps so far. I believe this map took me around 13 minutes to beat, which is quite a long time. So dying from getting unlucky to a spider mastermind shooting you is quite likely. Map 11. Now this map is sick. It's quite a short map, maybe 4 minutes it took me, and it's basically a rush to the infinite BFG at first, unless you want to take it really slow, which I don't recommend. And once you get the infinite BFG, there's a lot of arch files that come randomly, and it's super easy to just die if you get unlucky with the arch files. And there's a horde of enemies that just come right for you, and at the end of the horde is the arch files, so you can't really just circle around them. So what I recommend is just staying on the path where the infinite BFG is, and here is the greatest spot. But even with this strategy, you're still likely to die, so I think this map's placed pretty well. Next up, we have map 95, which is the second secret map in the WOD and second secret map on this list. Now this map actually introduces 2 new enemies. One is like a imp or pinky, but super fast and low HP. There's a lot of them, but the real difficulty comes from these white arch files, which are kind of crazy. They're like the elemental arch files in like those multiplayer servers. They have a lot of health though, like probably double an arch file, maybe more. And there's a lot of them. And if they get you in a corner or they all just come at you at once, it's so easy to die. And they come around 6 minutes into the map. I had one attempt where I died 6 minutes in, and I had to fight all 1,600 of the normal enemies again. It wasn't fun. Map 59. Now this was probably one of the hardest maps to rank just because of the way it works. So basically it just throws you in one of like the random like 5 rooms that exist, and depending on which room it throws you in first, it depends on how hard it is. So in this example here, I got probably one of the hardest rooms right away because you can just easily die here and there really isn't much health. So yeah, the difficulty of this map varies. However, most fights aren't really that difficult, so I think it lands here on the list. Map 32. Now this map, once it opens up, it gets pretty tough. There really isn't a lot of safe spots, if any, and there's a lot of perched up archviles, which just zap you, and there's infinite BFG on the map, or 2 of them, but they're pretty hard to get in the beginning. You have to do something a bit dangerous to get to them. And yeah, once you get the beginning part, or outer area, cleared more, the map becomes much easier. But even then, there's still a bunch of stray rockets, lots of cybers around, lots of dangerous stuff in this map. Map 54. Now the only reason that this map is this high on the list is because there are a few monster closets, I think maybe just one, that doesn't always let out all the monsters. So I've had like 5 attempts, it felt like, where I had to completely redo this map because there were some kills that were unobtainable. And of course, that's always going to make the UV max much harder. Besides that though, the map is very easy. And right after we have map 54, we got map 55, Slaughtermelon. This map is great, and it's quite difficult too. The main reason being because of the enemy spawning on the outsides, which eventually push in and make it where you have to push through them. But there is an excess of health, but it's quite spread out, so it's not always available when you need it. It's also a lot of cyber demons and stray missiles that could hit you. But once you get through the enemies on the outside spawning in, the map starts to get trivialized. Map 58. Now this map does warn you that there's monsters under your bed, but it doesn't warn you about the entire colonization of monsters under here. This map has 2 invulns on it, and even though there's 2 of them, you still need one to get the infinite BFG, and you need the other one to try to make your way around the cacos on the outsides. Overall, I remember having a good amount of deaths on this map. It may look quite easy, but again, this is a very big bed. Map 33. Now, at first, I had this map way lower on the list. I knew it was a very short map, but I completely forgot how hard this beginning is. You have all these revenants chasing you, and you have to get through a barrel of Hell Knights to get out of here. And you only have 3 Megaspheres, and 2 of them are really easy to accidentally grab. And yeah, this fight, you actually have to be decent at the game to beat this fight. Like, someone who's never played Doom before will actually struggle a lot on this part. And that's saying a lot for this part of the list. Oh boy, map 36. This is where things are ramping up. So, this map is quite long first. This map took me around 16 minutes to beat. However, I wasn't rushing. And if you fall off at all in this map, you are just insta-dead. It's really tight on health. You can't just grab it whenever you're like low a little bit. You really gotta be careful. And the buttons you press, they'll just spawn more enemies. This map is scary, especially once you're 10 minutes in. You really don't want to fall off. You start taking things slower. This is a real tough one, man. I did this map on my first attempt, but I also was very careful. Alright, now with this map, map 19, we're on the next tier of maps. These are maps that will actually probably take you some time. And starting with this map, the map is extremely easy until 8 minutes in. There is one secret though that requires an archvile jump, which is a bit tricky. But this final fight is extremely annoying. There's a bunch of archviles spawning in, and they're almost always surrounded by barons. The health is right where the archviles spawn and where the enemies spawn, so it's hard to get health. Dying at this point is just so frustrating, because you have to do 8 minutes of just shooting barons again. Oh man, this map is truly a slog to UV max. Here we go, map 98, Mortal Coil. I've gotten so many comments about people excited for me to play this map. And it's just not gonna happen, guys. I promise you, you do not want me to go through this 14-hour map of just walking through fences. It's insane. 14-hour maps. This map isn't even hard. It's just long. It's just a rage bait map. This is the epitome of a rage bait map. This is the only map of Junkfood 4 I haven't UV max, and I'm completely fine with that. I don't want to waste an entire day of my life walking through fences. Sorry, there's just so much cooler things I can do besides that. But anyways, what you're seeing now in the background is literally me no clipping just through the fences, getting all the keys, which is impossible to die to. Unless you like rocket yourself or something. And yeah, as you can see with no clip, it took me like 4 minutes. And that was so much more fun. Look, I did it. You go here, and then you press the two things. But yeah, guys, when is this? We need to stop doing this. Like, I understand like Junkfood 1 and stuff, we had like an hour-long map. Oh, look, you circle around and you shoot the shotgun. It's funny. But when does the joke become not funny? It's 14-hour map. We had like 4-hour map in like Junkfood 2 and Junkfood 3. I don't even know how long it was. And the next one, or Junkfood spin-off or whatever happens, it'll probably be a 2-day map. And then after that, fuck it, we'll have a 7-week map, man. When will it end, guys? But like, the crazy thing is, I know at least 3 people who have played this entirety of this map. And it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? Have some self-respect to not do this. First off, the map author, I think it's 2 of them, it took them 7 hours to make this map. That is half the amount of time it takes to actually beat the map. And if you really wanted to, you could copy and paste this map so you do it twice in a row, and then it's 28 hours. It just doesn't end. We really need to stop doing this. And I understand that this is only a Junkfood 4 thing. Or not Junkfood 4, Junkfood in general. But I don't want to see this trend continue, guys. It just brings down the entire quality of the WOD. And you can be like, oh yeah, just don't play it. But it's part of a WOD. At that point, might as well just release it as your own so no one plays the map and then everyone forgets about it. Instead of it being this big meme joke rage bait thing that apparently I fell for. So why did I put this map at the middle of the list? Well, it's because there's no difficulty in it. There's nothing that kills you. All the enemies are at the end. Only way to kill yourself is rocket yourself or your power goes out. Oh no. And then you have to redo everything again. But really, there's no difficulty in the map. The hardest part is going through it yourself. Map 47. This map would be quite harder if you couldn't just kill all the outside vials from the get-go with a little trick I call not shooting. But even with that, you can still most definitely lose, since ammo can be hard to find and the megaspheres are very spread out. Pain elementals are annoying on this map because they do not just stop giving birth here. They will litter the screen with lost souls everywhere. And hey, if you get bored while cleaning up, at least you've got some really cool visuals to look at. Map 48. Now the only reason this map is as high as it is on the list is because of one fight in particular, which you can get to in around 4 minutes, and you're spawned right in front of a bunch of melee revenants, skeletons, and pinkies, and kamikazes, cyber demons. So once you leave, there's really a big chance that you just get instantly blown up by a kamikaze, which is very not fun. Map 38. We got a fun little round 5-6 minute map here. Definitely the beginning is probably the hardest part, just getting through the first 20 seconds. But then after that, once you get the infinite BFG, you're surrounded on both sides by just a bunch of cyber juniors, and it can be quite difficult getting around them. Now besides that, there isn't much going on besides an archvile wave, which can kill you. And the final fight is kinda easy. You can still die to archviles. I died to it once in my attempts, but I was playing pretty recklessly. Map 78, Jabu Jabu's Indigestion. This map is awesome. The theme of just the Zelda Jabu Jabu going inside is so cool. But difficulty wise, the beginning you can die to if you're like trying to rush it, and the room where you drop down and there's like 2 archviles that spawn in and 2 mini cybers is also pretty dangerous. It's also worth mentioning that the room where you get the plasma gun is quite dangerous, and you could die if you get a bit unlucky with where the cybers go. The first time I played through this map, I don't know why, I thought Jabu Jabu was like a Star Wars character, but then I realized it was the Zelda character in like Ocarina of Time, and it's just so good. Map 37, a longer map that took me about 17 minutes to beat. This map's difficulty depends entirely on how slowly you play the ending. The cybers on top are awkward to kill, and the quickest way to take care of them is rushing them, which will turn out one of 2 ways. There's also the giant ring of melee revenants, which is risky to get through, making it even harder to rush the cybers. Map 52. A short map with 4 different fights that range from "I'm going to die" to "Are there even enemies spawning in?" The fight after getting the red key would be the hardest if it wasn't for you being able to just completely skip the fight by grabbing the yellow key after getting some wiggle room. The last fight has a lot of cybers and archviles that is easily countered by pumpkins they give you beforehand. Map 24. This map has more cyber beams than I can count to. Archviles litter the sides where there would normally be safe zones. Most of your deaths will probably be trying to clear these archviles out without getting face rocketed. After getting all the keys, more cybers appear as if there already wasn't enough. This map will have you singing never mind, I don't want to do it. Map 86. Now the only reason this map is hard is due to how long it takes. About 25 minutes. The ending has an infinite BFG, which I didn't know about in my demo at first, and the decorative pumpkin patch can actually be used to get invulns. The most dangerous part of this map is leaving the graveyard with the archviles, but if you're aware of it, it's very easy to circumvent. And also you can do that fight practically right away. Therefore, it's not bad at all. Map 69. another semi-long map that puts you on a can of grape juice. The beginning of the map is just a sneak peek at Grindfest, and most fights give pumpkins. The only reason I'm ranking this map harder than last map is because in the final fight, there is a good chance you can't find an invuln and some of the cybers get you. Just go home and dream. Map 51. What do I say about this map? It's got some interesting parts. It took me 8 minutes to max, and the hardest part is at the end when you release cybers blocking your only path, forcing you to either fight to the death or try to run along the edge and run behind them. Also, why is the elevator so fast here? I swear I died more times trying to get to this elevator than the actual map itself. The elevator has a little part at the end where you just fall to your death if you're not careful, and it's extremely annoying. Map 96. Definitely my favorite secret map of the WoD. This map contains a secret enemy type only found in this map. Think of it as a kamikaze with around imp level health, maybe? You have to survive 10,000 of these guys coming at you for roughly 2 minutes. You would think this is easy since they all explode together, right? Well, since these guys have way more health, it can be easy for you to not kill them in time before they reach you. Especially if they are already really close to you. The hardest part is at the end where they all spread out and it's easy for the stray guys to explode you. Map 61. This map has a ball-busting start with like 20 or something cybers firing at you with archviles on the sides. It's incredibly easy to die here, which is where most of the difficulty comes from. The second room of the map isn't much easier. You are sandwiched between imps while Mancubus have their way with you. If you can't find a Megasphere after taking lots of damage, you will surely die here. But since the map takes about 2.5 minutes to beat, it doesn't take long to get a max. Map 45. The start is quite scary with 10 cybers behind you with the weapon you need, and the hallways filled to the brim with revenants. But nothing stops you from training the monsters like you're playing Black Ops 2 Zombies and opening the final fight in the first 2 minutes. The final fight would be scary if there weren't these handy dandy teleporters which teleport you to the opposite side of the room. All that being said, it can still be difficult to pull off everything successfully, which is why it lands here on the list. Map 68. This map is only annoying to maps for one reason, the red key room. The map has a bug where if you don't kill everything in the red key room, the door closes permanently sometimes and doesn't other times, making it impossible to max. Therefore, right before attempting the hardest part of the map, you have to spend an extra 1 minute cleaning up. The hardest part is when you first go outside and fighting your way to the first invuln. I found it pretty inconsistent when gunning it, but after you make it one time, the map is quite simple as long as you get to the other invulns in time. Map 60. Oh boy. I remember this map taking me a decent amount of attempts to beat. In the beginning, once you grab the green key, you will get around like 10 to 20 archviles spawning in, which are hard to deal with because of the geometry around them. There's also tons of revenants that make them even harder to kill. The finale fight is interesting as well. In the secret, you can choose whether to kill the cybers in the finale or keep them. I really can't decide which is easier. With them dead, you risk the barons overrunning you, and with them alive, you risk getting face rocketed. The choice is yours, my friend. Did you expect to see a map so early on in the WoD be this far on the list? Map 10 brings the funk with close quarters face rocket activity. The first 2 fights are quite hard to do if you don't have a lot of experience, especially the part with the Hell Knights. The Hell Knights and Barons are really good at forcing you into a corner of death. Even once you get through that part, the ending is still easy to mess up. Overall, super fun little challenge map. I really do recommend this one. Map 90. A short map with one tough fight. You practically have no health given to you, and you have a room filled with cybers and archviles behind you. It only takes 2 zaps to kill you, so the best thing to do is get the cybers to shoot the archviles while they're sprinting towards you. The room is very small for the amount of cybers, and it's very hard to tell where the walls are, which makes it super easy to get hit by the rockets. Even once you have all the archviles dead, there's still a good chance that you die here. Map 82. The secret fight, also known as the Mr. Krabs workout room, is tricky to beat. You have lots of invulns, but once those run out, you have cybers constantly firing missiles at you from both ends, and the megaspheres are really spread out, making it hard to heal while trying to kill all the random stragglers in the huge arena. The chances of death here are really high. It doesn't help that before every attempt to get to Mr. Krabs, you gotta do the beginning bloatware pizza fight for 5 minutes. Map 67. Nothing's hard about this map except the finale. You don't have a lot of room and health to work with, and you have a staggering amount of kamikazes and cybers to always keep track of. It doesn't help that there are also many revenants, which are great at chipping away your precious health, making you a weak little infant. In order to beat this part, you really gotta lock in for like at least a few minutes. Map 79. This is a long map that took me around 20 minutes to beat and takes around 10 minutes to get to the finale. There are lots of ways to die in the finale with well over 10,000 enemies. You have to be careful to not allow the enemies to trap you. If you die that far in, you won't want to give this another attempt. The beginning feels a bit sluggish compared to the rest of the map. I died once on the finale and it was a mistake by me, but it felt like such a punishment to have to redo it all again. Map 23. I had this map a lot lower on the list until I remembered how unforgiving the finale is. You're given not a lot of room to work with, health being very limited, and there is instant death floors around every revenant pillar, which are very easy to accidentally walk in. And that's not all. You still gotta kill like 10 or something cybers that will eventually rush you if you stay in one area. It takes about 6 minutes to get to the finale, but if it took any longer, this map would be way higher. I hope you like tanking rockets because that's what map 62 is going to teach you. This map has an invuln secret, but even that's not enough because for about 2 minutes you will have enemies and plenty of Cyber Juniors spawning in, ready to infight with absolutely everything on the outside of the map, leaving you as a victim of infighting. Once you get rocketed once, it's real easy to die since your screen is red and you probably got pushed right into another infighting rocket. It's a brutal short map. Map 65. This is quite a risk versus reward map. I spent over an hour on this map because I was trying to get to the infinite BFG as quick as possible, since once you get the BFG, it's pretty much GG. The real trick, however, is to wait a minute or two and then you should have enough room to maybe grab the infinite BFG before dying. It is still quite the gamble though. There's a lot of Mancubus there and they just love blocking you. This map is littered with archviles and cyber demons everywhere. Map 66. I'm starting to see a trend of maps with finales being the hardest part. This map is a thrill the entire way. You have to get all 3 keys before entering the finale, which can take around 3 minutes if you rush it. And once you get to the finale, there's a likely chance that you get pub stomped by melee revenants or cyber spawning in on your only safe zones. Seriously, this map has a killer finale, which took me a good amount of attempts to officially shut the lid on it. Map 41. This map is all about using your pumpkins well. I was quite stuck on how I should approach this map, and the best way I found to beat it left me with very little room for error and a butt-clenching push through revenants. Even after going through all the trouble, there's still lots of enemies left and not a lot of safe places to be. Also, this map has the biggest perched cyber closet I've ever seen, and there's 2 of them. Trying to kill these perched cybers is quite deadly and takes a long time. Map 57. This map has lots of things that just makes it decently hard. A beginning of just killing hordes of enemies for 2 minutes to waste your time, a hard finale fight, a secret fight which is very easy to fall off of, and a final parkour section. The finale fight is frustrating because of the cyber spawns right where you have to be, and they love spawning in right in front of your face waiting for a hug. Not just that, these cybers love going right on the edges, blocking your only path to survival. It's going to take at least a few attempts to get through the finale, and once you do, you better hope you don't fall on the secret fight. Map 91. One of the last maps, and it's a gateway to the last map before the secret episode. This map consists of 3 fights, with fight 2 and 3 being the hardest. The second fight having plenty of archviles, which takes away so much usable space where you can stand in the room. And this gets amplified even more when the cybers start to spawn in. The final fight is also hard if you don't come up with a strategy for it. I practiced it decently well on my run, so I got it first try. But even if you get stuck on this map, it's not to worry because it's such a great time, you'll forget to be mad when you die. Alright, now we are on the next tier of maps. I would consider these maps as hard maps. They take effort to complete, and people who don't play Doom a lot will struggle a lot here. And to start off, we have map 73. This map starts you in a room with 4 hallways, and you are given waves of enemies and you slowly get stronger weapons. But the map doesn't give you time to finish each wave of enemies before the next wave. This usually leaves you in tight spots where you have your back pinned against enemies while you fight the enemies in front of you. This lasts for about 6 minutes, with the last waves being the hardest. After that, the final fight is quite easy as long as you don't get cornered. Banger alert! Map 70 is a map where you're only given 1 HP, so if you get hit once, you're out. There are 3 arenas, and I think the one with the toxic sludge is the hardest by far. Luckily, since you can choose which side to do first, you can get the hard fight out of the way, and then comes the Mank and Cackle fight. Overall, I never died to the Mank Cackle fight once, but it for sure is easy to mess up. And the Archvile side is free as long as you're familiar with how pinkies work. Peak Food 4. Map 26 is a combat platform focused map where each time you press a button, more platforms and more super bad monster men appear. This map is addicting, and once you start playing it, you won't want to stop. With that being said, it's quite easy to fall off on this map or eat a cyber rocket straight to the face. You have to be resourceful with your health and keep track of where the nearest megaspheres are. And if you live long enough, you'll get to the point where all the platforms get risen and you can fight the final cybers. But yeah, this is a interesting map. Map 88. This map is ranked this high up because of one fight 10 minutes in. A small room filled with Barons and Cyber Juniors where you have no choice but to rush through the Barons and hope the Cybers aren't on the other side. It's a very brutal room with a big punish if you die. This map takes about 30 minutes to complete and it gets progressively harder the quicker you try to take the map. It doesn't help that at the end, it has an icon of sin with multiples of monsters spawning at once. A stressful max for sure. Well, if you thought the last map was annoying, this map blows it out of the water. Map 30. Not only in this map, there are enemies spawning from the icon of sin everywhere, but every time you try to max this map, you have to make sure to remember and kill all the non-icon of sin enemies. And if you accidentally miss one, good luck finding that in the dumpster pile of enemies. And you know what's crazy? That's not even the worst part. When you finally finish the map, it has your dead body teleport onto the perched cybers to telefrag them. But this has a high chance of missing at least one cyber demon, registering the max as incomplete. When I ran this map, I missed the telefragging cyber demon twice, meaning I had to beat the map 3 times before it actually worked. Yeah, please never try to max this map. Map 77. This is a long map that takes around 25 minutes to complete. This map overall has a lot of easy fights, but one fight in particular stands out from the rest. The room with the imps and the cacos. At first, it's quite hard to survive because there is very little room for you to use your rocket launcher because the imps are right in front of your face, so it's easy to accidentally rocket yourself due to an imp coming close. And when the cacos come in, it's extremely easy to get cornered and have nowhere to run if you end up being in a bad spot when they appear. This is one of those fights where you have to play it yourself to feel the difficulty, and it doesn't help that it takes 4 minutes to get to this fight every time you want to attempt the map. Map 35. This is definitely one of the hardest short maps in the WoD. The beginning phase is decently hard with Hell Knights and Cybers guarding the Megaspheres. Then, after you get the invuln and run out, it becomes an all-out war between your face and rockets. There's a crazy amount of Cybers that spawn in, and it's near impossible to get around them until you've cleared most of the enemies. The best way I've found to go about this fight is to hug the Megas near the Manx, and whenever you get rocketed in the face, grab one quickly. This map will turn your monitor into the shade of blood, and you better get used to it if you want to come out victorious. Map 76. Arguably the most unfun experience for maxing in this WoD. The map contains an insane amount of Icon of Sin spawners, and the problem isn't even the enemies they spawn. It's the amount of lag that piles up after tens of thousands of corpses. The first 10 minutes of the map are fine, but after that, it becomes a laggy mess. My max of this map was 40 minutes long, but it took me 2.5 hours IRL time with 1 FPS gameplay. It also is worth mentioning that it is near impossible to get above 100 HP on this map, meaning that any cyber rocket is fatal. Anytime you need to heal up, you have to press a switch which lowers swarms of Icon of Sin enemies into the map. There's so many cyber demons on this map, and the architecture makes it dangerous to try to fight them head on. The only saving grace of this map is that if you're quick and risky enough, you won't have to deal with the lag as much, as it gets exponentially worse the longer you play it. Why does Junkfood 4 have 3 Icon of Sin maps? Map 53, a fun 5-minute challenge map that has you traversing on small platforms while dodging Mancubi and rockets. It can get frustrating after the 6th time getting hit by a single Mancubus and that being enough for you to fall off the map and die. However, the hardest part is definitely when the cybers spawn in and you have to push through the cacos while not being able to see where you're standing. There's also one part on the outer circle where in order to progress you have to run towards the cybers, which is incredibly dangerous and cause a lot of deaths for me. Map 20, the hardest short map of the WOD. Even though this map comes up early in the WOD, it's the hardest by far at this point. This map's gimmick involves Archviles resurrecting monsters from the tombstones, and it progressively gets harder. There isn't a lot of health on the map, and most megaspheres are in tough spots to grab. Getting through the revenants when they start spawning is very dangerous and will likely kill you plenty of times. The final phase with the Cyber and Cyber Juniors is really what levels this map up. Plenty of Cybers will spawn right where you're walking, and it's very easy for them to pinch you in a spot and steal your organs. It also feels like they take forever to finish spawning in, which only adds to the difficulty. Map 85. This map is just hard. The hardest fight in this is definitely the green skull key fight due to having no health, so if a cyber hits you, it's game over. Luckily you can do this fight right away, but every skull key fight is dangerous. Matter of fact, every fight is dangerous in this map. The finale, the weird fight in the middle of the start, it's all super easy to mess up. And I hope you're good at dodging kamikazes while going at max speed. The finale is packed with archviles all around the sides, making it hard to get good area control. It's a long map too, with 16 minutes it took me to max. This map starts off our top 10 list, and it's no surprise it made it here. Map 97, the second last secret map. This map has the same amount of enemies as the number of brain cells you will lose with every attempt. Almost every fight on this map is uneventful, not interesting, or just a waste of time. This map has an awful glitch on it, in the room where you have to walk in a line for 6 minutes and 48 pinkies come to kill you, where a few pinkies just might not even spawn in. So that means after doing 15 minutes of garbage thoughtless fights, you have about a 50% chance you can't max the map. It is also really hard to figure out how many pinkies actually spawn without counting them yourself, so you have to keep a mental note of how many you killed and hope that you don't start thinking about something else that makes you second guess yourself. You can't just use the kill counter to count it for you because there are archviles and enemies that may infight, which will skew the number. All that aside, there are 2 fights that are actually difficult. The infinite BFG fight, which appears around 20 minutes in the map, and the hardest fight appears around an hour into the map, which if you get unlucky and the cybers don't shoot the archviles, then welcome back to the start. This map took me 2 hours to beat, and I wish I could wipe this map from my memory. Oh yeah, map 46. This is a Wormwood reference, if you couldn't tell by the name, and it brings the heat. The beginning of the map is messy and can be tricky to come up with a strategy. Also, there are 3 skull key fights before the finale, and they are all difficult, meaning you gotta lock in for this map. And yes, the finale is the hardest part of the map, as you have perch cybers trying to snipe you, kamikazes teleporting in right next to you, revenants rushing you, and the fight lasts for like 4 minutes. It's also worth noting that the megaspheres are super easy to just accidentally grab them all if you get shot in them or something. You're given a pumpkin which can help you clear out the cybers, but it's not enough to kill all of them. Wormfood is more on the longer sides of map, taking me about 18 minutes to beat. Map 81. This map has a decently tough start, but without a doubt, the only reason this map is even close to the top is the finale fight. It takes about 8 minutes to arrive there, and it takes about 8 minutes to finish the finale, which is crazy long. The whole time you have to deal with infighting rockets and enemies spawning on the outsides of the arena that makes it very awkward to try and run around. You would be lucky to not taste a rocket during this fight. It's almost implied. The craziest part about this is that you're only given 2 megaspheres and 2 supercharges when you have to survive for this long. Straight up brutal fight. We are into the final tier of maps for Junkfood 4, and anything beyond this point is very hard to max. No more babying around, this is where doomers are forged by the map and come out a new man. Starting off, we got map 72. Every part of this map is dangerous and every encounter is meticulously crafted to make sure you're on the edge of your seat. The Revenant Cyber fight further in is probably the second most dangerous fight here, with very little room and Cyber shoving rockets down your throat. The finale, of course, is the most dangerous part, and in order to start it, you have to make sure you've cleared everything beforehand, because there's no going back. The finale has you locked in rooms with cyber demons in every room, and you have a horde of Hell Knights and Barons ready to uppercut you. Towards the end of the fight, the best thing to do is to give uppercuts back to them, and if you have enough room to make it through the doorway, you might just survive. Map 5. Oh boy, another map which is quite small. There's about 100 Cyber Juniors on one side of the map, and you'd be so surprised how much map control they take. The way the map layout is makes it impossible to circle around the map due to the Hell Knights and Revenants pouring in on the opposite sides. Megaspheres are scarce for the amount of enemies you face, and trying to rush past the Cybers is almost as big of a death sentence as not rushing. This is one of those maps that you really gotta play well with how the map is playing out and making the right decisions on the fly. Map 89. This map is a compilation of many Junkfood's past maps, and therefore there's a lot of fights. The fights are sectioned off into 3 areas, which give you the option of choosing which fights you want to do first. I found that the side on the very left is the hardest, so I always do that one first. The map took me around 45 minutes to max and is filled with lots of great and memorable areas. I think the hardest fight comes in around 8 minutes on Terrarian's section, and it includes you forcing your way around Cyber Junior closets. The final fight can be tricky with Cyber spawning in front of you and Manx behind you. There's lots of megaspheres, however it's still easy to get rocketed into another rocket, which I like to call death. I love this map. Map 92, the final map of mainline Junkfood. This map is hard. The beginning has you fighting 18 Cyber Demons right off the bat. Then you have 8 areas to choose from, all made from different mappers. Fortunately, like the last map, you can choose which ones you do first. Now there are 3 areas that I would call very difficult. You have Cass's Arena, which is just RNG Revenant Missile Hell. It completely depends on if you hit the switches or not, which is very hard to do because there's a Cyber Demon blocking them. Knight's Arena that has so much insta-death platforming on it, next to no safe spots, making it tough for survivability. Then you got Red Bull's Arena, which has a crazy finale to it that is getting sandwiched between Arachnotrons, Revenants, and Cyber Demons. It's also extremely hard to grab Megaspheres here, which are practically swallowed by the Horde. The rest of the fights aren't hard really, and 2 of them can be cheesed, so they aren't really worth noting. Thankfully, there is no finale fight on this map, or it would be devastating. There's too much going on in this map, but if you play it, you will know exactly why this map is number 3. bet you didn't see this coming. This map is definitely slept on difficulty-wise. Map 74 is an absolute beast of a map with 3 dangerous fights before the finale. This map is also a reference to Pooger's map 28, which is a notoriously hard map. This map does a great job at making all 3 fights in the beginning as equally as hard, making you doubt yourself when you think you found the best strategy. All fights require you to get lucky in some way. And then once you get yourself through the key fights, you find yourself at the finale. The finale has an incredible amount of cyber demons and enemies coming from every corner. The best thing this map gives you is the teleporters, which helps only for so long, but still is great to have. If you beat this map, I consider it impressive. And for the hardest map of Junkfood 4, is it even close? No, it isn't. It's map 87. Trying to max this map feels more hopeless than waiting for Sunder to release. Neon Lunchbox is 30 minutes of agonizing pain that will leave you wishing you'd never learned what Doom Wads are. Every fight in this map is long and difficult. The map is separated into 5 different arenas. Some notable ones are the Circle Arena, which spawns Archviles on you in the most boring room possible with not a lot of megas. And the room where Cybers come out at the end to unload all of their rockets at you. And the finale fight. Oh my god, the finale fight. I think it took me like 10 attempts at the finale to finally finish it. And keep in mind, this map is like 30 minutes long. A 9-minute drawn out fight with 2 waves of revenants that just swarm the entire area. You have to deal with unstoppable perched cybers in every corner that makes retracing your steps very dangerous. All of this while you have to micromanage 2 things at once. You constantly have to hit the ammo buttons to refill like every 20 seconds, and every 37.3 seconds there are perched Archviles that will open up and they will insta-kill you if you do not press one of the 3 buttons in the middle. You will know when it's time when the floor starts flashing red. And to make it even worse, if you press the button before the wall is not completely all the way down, even if it's just 1 millisecond, your button press would have done nothing and you will just insta-die. Also, the Revenants really love to gather up right on these buttons every time it's your turn to press them. This finale is a nightmare and I never want to fight this part again. There you have it, everyone. All maps of Junkfood 4 ranked from easiest to hardest. And man, let me tell you, this was a really cool video to make. It's my first time ever making a video like this, and of course I chose a WOD pack with 98 maps in it. So that was definitely a struggle. But I really want you all to, give your opinions on this, maybe what you would recommend changing, or any recommendations for the future videos I might do. I'm not sure. It really depends on how people enjoy this, but anyways, man, thank y'all for spending your time watching this. Shout out all the Brain Freeze watchers, man. Y'all are the reason why I do this. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next video.